Hey guys. So this presentation is going to focus on organizing essays and obviously with an eye toward organizing your first academic essay. Of course, you've written an essay by this point, you wrote a memoir, but that was kind of a more creative piece and less traditionally academic. Now we're moving into more conventionally academic pieces. Your first being the rhetorical analysis essay that you are starting to work on. Okay, so you'll look at more detailed instructions in the week 7 module, but for the purposes of the information I'm about to present to you, I wanted to go ahead and just sort of contextualize the assignment, and you'll see why. So do definitely make sure that you read the instructions in their entirety in the module, but for the purposes of what I'm about to present to you, organization, here's kind of the prompt boiled down. So the Essay 2 prompt will require you to rhetorically analyze one advertisement. You guys get to choose. But it needs to be an advertisement that's trying to sell you something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a product that it's trying to sell you or a service, but it needs to be trying to persuade you to do, think, or believe something. So when I say to sell you an underlying idea, that's what I mean. It's trying to persuade you to do, think, or believe something. So in this essay, you will analyze what the ad's message is and how the ad seeks to persuade you on this idea through the use of rhetorical strategies. It should be 2 to 3 pages, which is roughly 500 to 750 words. It needs to analyze at least 2 rhetorical strategies. If you analyze more, then assuming you do it well, that will be grounds for a higher score. You could still get full points just analyzing 2 rhetorical strategies, but analyzing more would show more sophistication of thought. And last but not least, most importantly for this presentation, your essay should be well organized according to standard essay organization conventions, and that is going to be the focus of the rest of what I'm about to present to you. So the essay chain, I'm a visual thinker, and when I think about some sort of a model for what a strong essay looks like, I often think of a chain. Chains being, interconnected, strong because they're linked. So there are 2 sort of levels to organizing an essay. There's the macro level, or sort of the big picture level, and then there's the micro level. We'll be looking at the micro level organization a little bit later, but right now we're going to be talking about some of those big picture organizational strategies. First, and in some ways most importantly, is obviously going to be a strong thesis statement. The thesis statement kind of organizes your entire essay. It's the blueprint for you and your reader that tells you where you're going and what the purpose of the essay is going to be. Then you're going to have strong, clear topic sentences for each paragraph. These are going to organize the paragraphs, but the reason there are arrows here is that a strong topic sentence will also link back to your thesis statement. So the paragraphs, the purpose of the paragraphs are to support the claim or explain, give evidence for the claim that you make in your thesis statement. Therefore, the topic sentence should link back to that thesis statement claim. Now, the reason that there are also arrows in between, right here, the topic sentences, is that a strong topic sentence will also not just link back to the thesis statement, but will also gesture back to the previous paragraph. So, and there are ways that authors can achieve this. Most often it is through kind of transitional words or phrases. So perhaps, you're using first, comma, and then your next paragraph, secondly, comma. There are lots of different ways we could do this, and we'll look at some of those transitional methods in a later presentation. And then lastly is the conclusion, which kind of ties up all the loose ends of the essay and brings everything to a really nice and satisfying close. So, creating a strong thesis statement for this essay. And I know that, so something I want to say is that this presentation is going to seem kind of prescriptive, like I'm telling you what you have to do, but you can, and I want you to definitely tailor this information to your authorial bent. You are the author of your paper, and if you want to deviate or, you know, you have freedom to create here. So here's just sort of some guidelines that I recommend, but feel free to take this and you know, tailor it to your authorial, I don't know, freedoms, liberties. What are words? Okay, so the first step of creating a strong thesis statement is, and here this is kind of a pro tip. What I'm about to tell you is going to be good for writing any essay that you write in college. Step 1, turn your assignment prompt into a question. Step 2, if you can create a statement that directly answers that question, that is going to brilliantly focus your essay and very much impress your instructor. So an example, I've gone ahead and turned the prompt for essay 2 into a question. What is my ad's message, and how does it use rhetorical strategies to persuade the audience to buy into this message? And there should be end quotation marks after that, but okay. So if that is our question, then an example of a direct statement that answers that question, so a thesis statement for essay 2 might look like, this ad for the Beard Club uses humor and celebrity endorsement to seek to persuade male consumers that using their product is a sign of masculinity. And obviously this will look familiar to you. I've borrowed from and tweaked the thesis statement from one of the sample student essays that you looked at. And I've bolded the 2 rhetorical strategies that are mentioned in this thesis statement, and then I've put in italics the ad's message. So this should give you kind of an idea of what a strong thesis statement for essay 2 might look like. Okay, I want to underscore that the essay organization I'm presenting here to you is a suggestion. So again, there are lots of ways that you could nuance this or you know, make it fit what feels right to you. But you are definitely going to want to have an introduction with a clear thesis statement. So there's not a lot of room for play with that. You want to have an introductory paragraph with a clear thesis statement. But number 2, where you give your description with the relevant details of the advertisement, there's some room for tailoring there. So sometimes students want to put the description in the introduction. Sometimes they want the description to come as that first paragraph right after the introduction and then go into their analysis. I've seen students kind of describe sections of an advertisement in a paragraph and then go into the analysis. So it's really up to you, but you definitely do want to give the description before you give the relevant analysis. And then number 3 is giving your analysis. And again, there's room for play here. So one strategy might be that you lead with analysis of the rhetorical strategy and then identify the rhetorical device that it appeals to, or you could lead with the rhetorical device, so talk about, you know, this ad persuades through pathos, and then discuss what rhetorical strategies work to appeal to the audience's emotions. So again, there's room for flexibility here. But the last piece that is kind of, you're definitely going to want to have not a lot of room for play, is your concluding paragraph, where you're going to want to summarize the main ideas of your essay and give the reader a nice sense of closure. That is all I have for you right now, and I am looking forward to reading your rough drafts, which you will turn in later this week.